The 2024-25 season has seen Tyler Dibling emerge as a true phenomenon. At just 19, with Southampton struggling at the bottom of the table, you'd be forgiven for switching channels when they played. But if you did tune in, you simply couldn't take your eyes off Dibling. His so-called street footballer essence isn't just about technique, it's about freedom, improvisation, and sheer audacity, traits he's carried from the backstreets to the professional stage. Watch him play, and you'll see a fearless competitor who doesn't shy away from challenges, isn't afraid to lose possession, and is always willing to take risks. Stats? Not particularly mind-blowing, yet impossible to ignore: 4 goals, 2 assists across all competitions. But numbers don't define him. It's his silky dribbling, the way he spins out of tight spaces under pressure, and his ability to constantly draw fouls that make him unforgettable. Take the game against Wolves. Dazzling dribbles, relentless duels, pinpoint passing, pure street football flair. His coach at Southampton once said, "He plays as if he's in a cage match with his mates, no restrictions, just passion and creativity." An ex-England international put it bluntly: "Watching Dibling dribble, I immediately think of players who grew up on the concrete pitches of South London, fearless, instinctive, electric." Dibling grew up in Everton, where street football taught him how to glide past 2 or 3 opponents at once, a skill that's now a deadly weapon in the Premier League. You can't teach that in academies. It's raw. It's ingrained. Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Juventus, they all want him. They see a rough diamond, a rebel on the pitch with an edge. Quick, tricky, unpredictable, a street baller at the highest level, and Southampton knows it. That's why they slapped a £100 million price tag on him. Sounds crazy? Maybe. But no one should be surprised. Because in today's football market, where valuations are distorted beyond logic, naming an outrageous price is just playing by the rules. We live in an era where a teenage winger with a handful of good performances is automatically worth tens of millions, without any guarantees of sustained excellence. Dibling isn't the first product of this inflationary ecosystem. And he won't be the last. There's also something uniquely English about this: an irrational willingness to overpay for homegrown talent. Part of it is the Premier League's nationality quota, part of it is media hype, and the rest is just clubs outbidding each other. A young Brazilian magician might be bartered down, but an English Academy graduate who shines for a few games? Instantly worth his weight in gold. Dibling falls into this category: born, raised, and developed within the English system. He's well-schooled, has a distinct playing identity, and most importantly, he has a signature style. And when a player has that, it means their value is only going up. But Dibling isn't just a prospect. He's been the brightest light in Southampton's bleak season. In a team struggling at the lower end of the Premier League, his moments of magic have been the only thing keeping them alive. Emotionally speaking, when a teenage player can give fans hope, his value isn't just in technique, speed, or XG. It's in the question: who replaces that feeling if he leaves? And because the answer is no one, Southampton can afford to set the price high. They're in no rush. They don't need to sell Dibling to survive. And they're no longer a feeder club, owing to Europe's elite. At least this time, they're refusing to be a discount store, because history is clear: they've sold entire squads before, only to watch their former stars flourish elsewhere: Van Dijk, Luke Shaw, Lalana, and so many more. Every sale came with regret. Every time they realized too late, we let him go for too cheap. Now, Southampton is laying down the law: you want him? Fine. £100 million. Take it or leave it. Factor in the market, too. Bayern and Man City are sniffing around. Once the big sharks arrive, a player's value skyrockets. Not because Dibling suddenly gets better overnight, but because limitless spending power fuels the transfer war. It's simple supply and demand, football edition. And when multiple teams want the same asset, we all know what happens next: silent bidding wars. And in bidding wars, the one who sets the initial price controls the game. Southampton is choosing not to be a bystander. They're not waiting for City to haggle them down to £40 million. They're dictating terms: play or walk away. And let's be honest, £100 million might not even be their real asking price. Sometimes, a ridiculous valuation is just a disguised no thanks. If they genuinely want to keep Dibling for another year, setting a deliberately high price is a smart way to shut down negotiations. It's their way of saying, we're not saying he's off limits, but if you're crazy enough, go ahead. Otherwise, he stays. Win-win. Who knows? Next season, Dibling's price might rise even further, or it might drop. But at least Southampton will be in control, not held hostage by the market, in a world where smaller clubs are constantly on the losing end of transfer sagas. Standing firm even with an outrageous price tag is a move that deserves respect. No club splashes big money without a valid reason. So, let's flip the question. Which team truly needs Dibling? Which club is desperate for someone like him, a player whose absence would leave a gaping hole in their setup? The clearest answer? Tottenham. Postecoglou has them playing fluid, attacking football, but they lack a technically gifted, elusive number 10 who can break defensive structures with quick dribbles or incisive passing. Maddison fits the role but is injury-prone. Kulusevski and Lo Celso aren't quite that player. Dibling would slot in perfectly as a right-sided playmaker, where Spurs often lack dynamism when Son drifts elsewhere. Manchester City? They never need anyone, but they always stockpile young talent for the long term. Pep could easily integrate Dibling into the system, rotating him with Foden, Oscar Bob, and Doku. And if Savinho or Doku don't pan out, Dibling will get his shot. He wouldn't need to start immediately, but his skill set aligns with Pep's philosophy: ball control, tight space dribbling, and positional intelligence. Manchester United? They need everything. But their lack of structure makes it hard to guarantee Dibling's proper development. And if Southampton is demanding over £100 million, United should walk away. They need multiple key signings, not a single expensive gamble. The most intriguing options? Bayern and Leipzig, two clubs with a proven record of nurturing young talent. If Dibling chooses to leave England, it could be a smart career move, following in the footsteps of Bellingham and Musiala. But if he stays in the Premier League, Spurs is the best destination, offering regular minutes, tactical fit, and a clear pathway to stardom. Tyler Dibling isn't just another flashy dribbler whose highlight reels make him look better than he is. No. Dibling has foundation, a story, and most importantly, the habit of showing up when his team needs him most, something many hyped-up youngsters never develop. At 15, Dibling scored a hat-trick against Newcastle's U21s at St. James Park. 3 identical goals, cut in from the left, curl it into the far corner, just like Grealish. The finishes were so perfect that Gary Lineker had to drop a Google eye emoji on Twitter. Since then, he's been dubbed Southampton's Grealish. But in reality, he's carving out his own identity. Grealish is calculated, Dibling is reckless. Grealish needs combination play, Dibling creates his own chaos. And most importantly, Dibling thrives in adversity. Southampton is in shambles, yet he shines like a lighthouse in the fog, and in football, that's the mark of a true star.